What?
Good morning. It's Tuesday, November 18th. This is an open door and our regular Tuesday meeting when we talk about a daily lesson from the Course in Miracles. And this whole discussion and gathering stemmed from a book that I wrote in 2019 called Training Wheels. And it was my attempt to take the daily lessons of A Course in Miracles, which I found the language to be patriarchal and just too steeped in traditional Christian um, language and description. And so I tried to make it something of my own and then to share it. And in doing that, um, it changed my experience of the lessons and deepened them for me. And I shared it in the hope that it would do the same or touch others in some similar way. That publication is now, 15 years old, and so the lessons are a little different now for me than I first wrote them then. So I deviate from them as we talk together about the lessons in this gathering. And we are on lesson 69, which is My Grievances Hide the Light of the World in Me. Before we begin, I just want to say that um, I was listening to Richard Rohr this morning, and he reminded me that Genesis begins with God creating light, essentially. And the first 4 or 5 chapters of Genesis all begin with a description of what God creates, and it is all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. And so as we go through this lesson, I'm keeping that in mind. Um, and I also just want to say that he he reminded me, sometimes language can be so subtle. But he reminded me that as I look at this, my grievances hide the light of the world in me, that the light of the world isn't in things out there. So when I take this lesson in, my grievances hide the light of the world in me. I'm not looking for the light in things outside me. I'm looking for the light within me through which I perceive everything that appears to be out there. Right? So I'm looking through the light that I am at what is happening all around me, but is actually all within me. So as we go through and talk about what this lesson means for us, we can keep that in mind. But for now, let's go through the first 50 lessons. This is kind of our introduction and our morning meditation. So I read the first 50 lessons because every single one, including the first lesson, is still absolutely applicable to how we experience the light within ourselves. I'm also going to try to change the word God because Richard Rohr reminded us and sort of gave me permission to say what Richard Donnelly has said so often. The word God is so laden with 2,000 years of meaning that is really, we need to let it go. And he mentioned that there's I forget the gentleman's name. He's a pastor in the Black community that said we should stop using the word God for 100 years or something like that and find something else so that we can refresh what our experience and understanding of the divine really is. So let's just settle in, and I want to just welcome everybody and say good morning to everyone. I'm glad you're here and use this opportunity. You can close your eyes. I'm going to turn my screen off and we'll just go through the lessons and then we'll begin. So relax. Everything that you've accumulated so far in your day, just let it be. Don't argue with it. Don't have to try to let it go. You don't have to do anything at all. Just be present now. And Patricia, you just joined us. We're just starting. So if you'll turn your screen off and just listen, that would be lovely. So nice deep breaths. Feel your feet on the floor. Let your shoulders relax. Let your throat soften. Let your tongue soften. Let your eyes soften. Soften your belly. Soften the eyes. Soften the brain. Soften the back of the head, the occiput. Soften the area behind the shoulder blades. Soften the lower back. Soften the feet. Soften the heart. Nothing I see in this world, in this room, means anything. I have given everything I see in the world, in this room, all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. These thoughts do not mean anything. I am never upset for the reasons I think. I'm upset because I see something that really isn't there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is right now. My thoughts do not mean anything, and my meaningless thoughts show me a meaningless world. I'm upset because I see a meaningless world, and a meaningless world engenders fear. God did not create a meaningless world. My thoughts are images I have made. I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. And I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am determined to see. I am determined to see things differently. What I see is a form of vengeance. I can escape. I can transcend. I can re-see this world by giving up attack thoughts. I do not perceive my own best interests, and I do not know what anything is for. My attack thoughts are merely attacking my own invulnerability. And yet, above all else, I want to see. Above all else, I want to see things differently. Love, Source, the Creator, the Absolute, is in everything I see. Love, Source, is in everything I see because it is in my mind. I am not a victim of the world I see. I have invented the world I see. There is another way of looking at the world. I could see peace instead of this. My mind is of God, with God, and in God. I am very holy. My holiness envelops everything I see. There is nothing my holiness cannot do. My holiness is my salvation. I am blessed as a creation of love. Love goes with me wherever I go. Love is my strength, and holiness is the vision of wholeness that love bestows within me. Love is my source. I cannot see apart from love. My source is the light in which I see. My source is the mind in which I think. The absolute infinite is the love in which I forgive. The absolute infinite is the strength in which I trust. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. The absolute infinite, all love, speaks to me all throughout the day. I am sustained by the love of my Creator. My grievances hide the light of the world in me. My grievances hide the love in the world from me. It is impossible to be separated from this love. But in this world which pulls us out of our true self and makes us think there are things happening out there in the great beyond, it is possible to hide the love we are in the illusion that there is something else. A grievance is my unwillingness to allow all that arises and know that I am one with it. The vast majority of this world perceives only the veil of grievances. What lies beyond this veil is nothing. The veil is nothing. How grateful we are to know that this is true. There is nothing else but God, but love, but the absolute, infinite. There is nothing else. It takes only one person to see this truth. And when she or he sees, the growth in seeing this truth becomes exponential. It's like a fire lit in a dry forest. This is why the end of separation is guaranteed. In truth, it takes fewer minds to recognize the light than it took for the darkness to veil the light itself. We are all waking up now. So many waking up to the light, even as the darkness seems to loom so large. This light is our inheritance. It is what we are. If you recognize and affirm the light within yourself, you're halfway there. But you must embody the light. Even when you are expressing as darkness, you must embody the light to come full circle. You must know within the heart of your being that you are never anything except the light. And so this lesson, my grievances hide the light of the world in me. It isn't as if the light of the world is out there. It's not out there in the world waiting for me to see it. The light isn't out there. It is the light through which we see within our own mind. That light is perceived. We see it through our own mind. And it covers every single thing. It imbues everything. It infuses everything. It is everything. And the challenge is, even when we don't recognize the light is still within ourself, even when the darkness seems to have descended, is to know that the light never goes out, has never gone out, and to trust and to trust and to trust again and again and again, knowing each time we trust that the certainty that we are the love of God, of Source, of the Absolute, is our true nature. And when we know that over and over and over again, the light shines through us as us. And this is how the light of the world is seen. Most of us who are here with this teaching are mystics. What is a mystic? A mystic is someone whose natural inclination is to see the wholeness in the separation. A mystic is the one who sees the trees but knows there is a forest that holds all the trees within itself. And the mystic is looking for the patterns in the whole. This is how we are the light of the world. We look for the wholeness in everything that seems to be separated. The desire to see the wholeness is the light itself. The desire is the light. Can you separate yourself from your desire? In the beginning, God made the light. Even before form, all form arises in the light, as the light, and through the light. As you go throughout your day today, remember that you are the light. Take refuge in the light you are. Do not doubt it. Be the mystic. There aren't enough mystics in the world today. Be bold in your mysticism. Grievances come and go. There's always resistance. It won't stop until the day that you leave the body. But the resistance even arises in the light. It is still the light. Have fun with your resistance. Your grievances are there to show you what you are not. You are not the grievance. They're gentle reminders if you allow them to be. The light of the world shines within each being. It is each being. This is not a form of pantheism. This is not a way of saying God is in the grass or God is in the tree. No. The tree is in God. The grass is in God. God is in all things, and there is no separation. All that arises within the infinite, absolute, the one, and that is what you are, the infinite, absolute, one. Know yourself this today and be the light you are. Let your shoulders soften. Let your heart soften. Let your throat soften. Let your whole body become porous. This is how the light shines through. When you're ready, gently, gently take a couple of centering breaths, and then let's come back and talk about what this lesson means for you. Take your time. How's everybody doing this morning? Rana. Good morning, Rana.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Amy. This one needed that, that's for sure. I'm grateful for the willingness to sit with it too. Over the last 24 hours, I've noticed that resistance can come and I don't have to move a muscle. I can just let that little contraction happen and say, oh, there's resistance. And before a thought even enters, because I noticed it that way and just kind of allowed that, then there was no intention of, I'm glad you're shaking your head because I'm not quite sure what I'm saying.
Oh, I get it. Totally.
Okay. But, and that's what I've been noticing with all of life's things. I want to thank everybody for the space to share yesterday. It was really healing. And I had a long talk with my friend Maureen this morning and just feeling, ready. I just feel ready. And so that's good. It's a good feeling. Um, but yeah, the willingness. And I just have to tell a short story because I am amazed. You guys have walked with me with my mom and all this stuff. And the last several mornings, she's been waking up with very crazy things on her mind. I think she's dreaming very vividly. And she has these, she calls me in, and like this morning, she wanted me to take a look at the pipes in the bed. I'm not sure what that meant, but I pulled the covers back. I mean, it was like an outer body experience. Just pulled those covers back and took a look, and I said, I think they're fine. I said, would you like coffee now? She said, what time is it? I said, 7. She said, oh, I think we'll go back to sleep for a little while. You go on back to bed. And I said, thanks, Mom. I'll come back in an hour. I mean, it's like out of body. And this has happened 3 or 4 times, where the bell rings early, middle of the night. I go in there and there's just this sense of peace. Like whatever comes up for her, I can just be like, yeah. I mean, she even said, thank you for not thinking I'm crazy. And I thought to myself, you're not. It's just what's happening. So this morning, it has been put on me because of this intentional blessing. My holiness blesses my mother, right? Been doing that for a minute, and I see the seeming results, right, of what I see. Well, now I'm going to turn to my bio mom and I'm going to bless Mary for a couple of weeks and we'll see what happens there. Because, it's that time of the month where I'm supposed to call her. Supposed to listen to that word. So I'm just sitting with all of that too. And I just wanted to express my gratitude to my family this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rana. Much appreciated. That's a great story. Yeah. Thank you for that. I love the pipes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Ah, Richard, good morning.
Morning, everyone. Love us all and great to be here with you. First of all, I'd like to say two things I didn't get to say yesterday because we ran out of time. Rona, we have your back. So, and the other one I wanted to say was buongiorno. Welcome back, Sandra. So, from Italy. So, um, what came to mind early in your talk, Amy, was my experience has been, although I have a problem with the word God, that's a personal thing. That's a separate self kind of thing. Okay. And I've come to believe that in order to raise our consciousness, we have to believe in a power greater than the separate self. Most of the people in the world haven't got to that point yet. And they believe the separate self and others like them are enlightened and ready to rule the world if we only we can make the world better. And somehow we, as a race, went from stop believing in religion and believing in science during the Enlightenment period, and now, because we dropped religion from intellect, we are now dealing with a secular world that is confusing many of us. And so I think it's really important for people to realize there's a power greater than the separate self. Whatever you call it. I'm just uncomfortable with the word God. But there has we use the word divine, and we use the word Father in all of our course lessons. And I have a problem with Father for the same reason, not because of the patriarchy, which is also an illusion, but also because the Father represents something separate from me. And therefore, it blocks my awareness to love's presence, and it makes it harder for me to accept the atonement. If I'm one with everything, and there's only one, how can there be separate entities within the oneness? That cannot be. So I think that's a personal choice, but I think if we want to raise our consciousness as a human race, we need to realize that there's a power greater than the separate self. And we have a long way to go, in my estimation, when I look at the TV or the news or listen to some of the dialogues that are going on in our world. You go, these people don't have a clue what they really are. So my job is I think is just send the light and the love that I am moment to moment to everybody and everything. And those that are ready to accept it will, and those who aren't won't. And whatever manifests from that point on is none of my business. It just is what it is. And so I love us all, and thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Richard. As usual, that was beautiful. I'm tempted to say that it's I'm using Rana's mother's explanation of the pipes in the bed. I mean, that's basically what the rest of the world is. It's just pipes in the bed, right? You know, when someone is espousing separation and talking about how we should be afraid of this or that, it's just pipes in the bed. You just lift the covers up, say, okay, yeah, I think they're doing fine. Put the covers back down and, they'll be okay. Oh, it's beautiful. You said something I really appreciate, Richard, which was using the word father or mother. I believe you said it makes it harder for me to accept the atonement for myself. And I really appreciate that. It doesn't make it harder for me to accept the atonement, but it puts a barrier up, puts some kind of a barrier up. And so I agree that we need to come up with a different word. And I don't know what that word should be. Sometimes I string a few words together. The absolute infinite is, yeah, the labels are so limiting.
I
So,
think that's why the Course says words are, what is the quote? Words are twice
Symbols
removed
upon,
from
yeah,
reality.
yeah, symbols upon symbols, twice.
Right, right. Twice removed from reality. So words are a very poor way of communicating.
yes, they
That's
are.
why telepathy and the telepathy tapes were so interesting because they show us another way of communicating, which is much more accurate than words.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Sandra, come on to the head of the table.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I feel so good to be here. And that's exactly why I raised my hand to say words are symbols and they're inadequate, yet they are helpful because we're talking to each other right now. And it's often what stops me from wanting to speak about these things because I know that the words can't convey what I want to convey. And so, what I start with now, with all of you and with my family, is feeling. I feel the love and I don't really have to attempt so much anymore. I just send love. Then I speak. And hopefully that the love comes through the words in some way. I don't know if that makes sense. But I feel like I'm emanating something beyond words now. Could be closeness, it could be compassion, it could be, I don't even know. So and I also wanted to say, Amy, that, and I'll say this every week if I feel like it, so I know it's repetitive. When you read those lessons, something profound happens in me. And this morning, I just felt so deeply connected to your voice, the softness of your voice, and your vibrational field, and how you were leading us so gently and beautifully through those words. And I am grateful that I get to sit here and be present for that. So thank you. And the part about this lesson that first kind of stunned me when I did it, and really every time I hear this lesson, this whole idea that I carry grievances. And I have practiced forgiveness thousands of times. And often, especially with my father, I can't tell you I've forgiven that man a million times. Still comes back. So I'd like to, if I could take a minute, I'd like to share a story of what happened that was so profound for me last week. I had the opportunity, I lived with my grandmother, Josephine Bongiovanni, when I was in the second grade, and we formed a bond, even though it was only 1 year. I didn't want to leave her, but I had to go back to my home. And did some ancestry things, and I had the opportunity on this trip to visit her village. And it was exactly the way it was over 100 years ago. All the little houses, all the little alleys. And my daughter, Laura, my husband, son, they were all with me. It was such a beautiful experience. And here's the mystical part of it. I thought I was going there. I thought I would connect with her. And I did. I got to see her house. I got to see the church she went to, what the view off the hill. It's a village on the top of a hill right in the middle of Sicily called Cala Sabetta. And it was just such a lovely experience. But then I started, I thought my purpose in going there was just to see her. I loved her. I wanted to see her childhood home. None of my family had ever been back. And what happened was I started thinking about my father instead. And I saw his innocence. I didn't know I was going to cry, sorry, but I saw his innocence, and I felt complete forgiveness and love for this man who did the very best he could, as everybody does. Everybody does the best they can, right? Everybody's walking around saying, I'm going to screw this up. No, we're all doing the best we can. And there was something about being there. Something mystical happened, and the grievances are gone towards my father now. Gone.
Wow.
And I've done this course so many times. Practiced that lesson so many times, but it's something beyond me, power greater than myself. Richard did for me what I could not do as a separate self. So thank you for listening, my sweet friends.
Thank you for that, Sandra. That's a beautiful healing.
Grievances do hide the light.
They do.
And they can be a signal. That's what I treat it as now. I had another one with my daughter drinking, oops, there's a grievance. It can be it can be a warning bell to go back to what you just told us, to everything you told us this morning. And I can now, I don't have to fight with it anymore. Thank you, Rana, for saying that. I don't have to fight for it. I don't have to try and hold it away. There's a power that's way beyond the individual self, and it's in me. And all I have to do is let go, let go.
Thank you. Livy, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Really grateful to be here with y'all this morning as Sandra. Oh my goodness, that really touched me deeply. And I can relate it. I have been in the grief process over the past few months, and finally I realized I was stuffing a lot of the grief, and I'm grateful today to be feeling it and to be listening more. And when all of this first happened, I was so resentful towards my sister for not being present like I thought she should. And then understanding today that she is absolutely doing the best that she can. She really is. And I'm able to see her with love now and love and compassion. And I understand where she came from. And so it's just a whole nother world to be and especially with my cats. I was having a loving session with one of my cats the other day, and I swear to God there was no separation between the two of us. And it was just such a wonderful, wonderful moment. And then I had proof, not that I necessarily needed, I just found them comforting, that when I pay attention and listen, there is no separateness, and that I am being guided. And one of the cats has diabetes. And so I have to give him a shot twice a day and things like that. And he had an incident about a week ago, and he looked to be in discomfort. So I made an appointment. I'm really an overprotective mom when it comes to my cats. And I'm also like the paparazzi with my camera phone in my own home with them. But he had this incident, and I took him to the vet, and they said, "Oh, his blood sugar is really high. We need to adjust his dosage." And that's why I went. I thought I was going because he had this incident. And then what I believe was happening was that it was source saying he needs to be looked at, and he needs to be looked at now. So I'm going to give this particular situation so that he will get to the vet sooner than later. So I thought I was going to the vet for one reason, and then it turned out to be the real reason, and the comfort and the affirmation that I have everything right here, right now, in this moment is where everything is. And it's just wonderful. I mean, just to pause, I'm doing a lot of stuff around my place, and just pausing, like seriously every 5 minutes, and just putting my hand over my heart and just saying, what do we do next? What is the next thing to be done? And I'm so grateful that I'm not caught up in the stuffing so much anymore. I'm doing a lot of real good cleansing crying. I'm honoring the grief process now instead of having it come out sideways by not acknowledging it. So, Sandra, thank you so much for sharing that story. And I could just really relate it with my sister as well. And I'm grateful to know from learning from y'all that what I perceive coming from somebody else is actually coming from me and offering me the opportunities to heal. And so I'm just really grateful for that. And really good to be here with all of you. And I sure do love all y'all a bunch. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks, Livy. Beautiful. Alice, good morning.
Hi. Thank you for everything, everybody. All this morning, it's just so wonderful, and I'm glad to be with the people that find the God word difficult, and it's and I really think it is loaded. It's a loaded word, and it is for me, it was just like a lot of things I had to clear out of that word. Or I'm sure I got way more, but it was just like if my understanding was the punishing God, like, that's a terrible place to live. and and I think for so many along the way, it's one of the first items is, what is my idea of the creator or creation or the higher power. I always thought when I got in 12 step, and it was like, oh, imagine 100 years ago they had the good sense to use higher power, in definition of that which is greater than us. And so that's my first was like, yay, because I don't, it's not something I felt that um, but I felt really important about that, even though it maybe but among many is not a popular topic to say. I don't like the God word, but so that was refreshing. And my sweet sister Sandra, I had to like respond. Um, we talked yesterday a little bit about our trip and into the village, but um, my heart says that the unconditional love of your grandmother, you know, affected you to be able to do that giant thing, to be able to restore uh, love with your father, and forgive him. And unconditional love. I just feel like that's pouring, that pouring through you, and you can I'm working on that with my daughter. It's like rewriting the story, re from a higher perspective, and that allowing the higher power and allowing those um, symbols of others or a wisdom teaching or whatever to guide me, and allowing the creation that's um, mechanical and spontaneous, and that is love, that is um, and I on the subject of words, well, I once heard that the universe doesn't speak English, and so the words about in affirmative prayer or whatever, that it's the feeling state. We can say string a lot of long words together or a lot of dumb words together, but it's really the feeling state of being um, accepting or willing or in wonder or in awe, or I mean, um, or am I requesting? Am I have the feeling state of contraction and fear? And so I just want to share that about the the higher power doesn't. Uh, it's a vibrational frequency. It's a frequency universe. It's not a structured English composition. So, but I as that's a lot of jumble, I think. But there's this meeting here this morning um, has much. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. I love that. The universe doesn't speak English. That's beautiful. It's a little bit after, but let's let Lonnie close us out. I was waiting for Lonnie to raise her hand because I could sense she's full of something this morning. So come to the head of the table, Lonnie, and share with us.
Full of tears, full of love, full of joy, full of the divine. It felt like I was being led to, I mean, I pressed the button and there was damn Cindy in my head again, because it was, maybe that will run out of time. But the reality is that this is what was burning inside. And you said it, Alice, the universe, the divine doesn't speak English, it speaks in frequency. And I struggled so long with that concept of God and what I was taught it was and what it wanted and what it expected. And I kept going outside when I was little, looking up and trying to figure out how all them dead people was being held up there. I mean, everything, you know. But I kept searching for that feeling that I knew that whatever they were saying wasn't happening in. And it was in meditation at some point, just in conversation of if it's not what they say it is, then what is it? And it was just as clear as it could be. It's the guidance of the divine. And I said, huh? But then I started walking with it. And it didn't matter to me that it wasn't that for everybody else. For me, it helped me to start noticing the little nudges, the little conversations, the little reminders. I mean, and in March, when I did that whole surrender thing and when my mother's ashes were being emptied and everything, literally the next day, the nudges got really loud. On up to and including me still having my house because one of the nudges was go home, don't go to the beach. And when I got home, things were already on fire. Thank God I came home. Thanks for that guidance. So, and it wasn't until I walked with it that way that I also started feeling it in literally every single moment. Even in the moments when I want to pull back and I'm doubtful or I'm afraid that somehow I'm not going to be received, it's even there. You know, it's at the end of Cindy's, the impulse is there. So their hand doesn't go down, you know, the hand still stays up. It's at the end of, it's in every time I look at your faces. And that little old thing of the past comes up with what it was. And I'm reminded that, well, we're not in the past anymore. We're right here. So for me, that word has changed everything because of the lens I should see through it now. I have to say it that way, see through it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Lonnie. Beautiful. Well, I sense that we could stay here for another hour. And so gratefully, we are going to meet again in another hour with 12 stepping. And so go take care of your business, whatever it is, meditate, have your breakfast, have a cup of coffee. And then we'll come back and we'll join each other again in an hour for this overflow.
William is going to lead us. Anybody else think it's going to be silent and nowish? I think it's going to be nowish, but let me hit the stop button.